Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Ero F2. As you can see, we are in Australia, Albert Park, the newly, I was going to say newly refurbished. I guess you could almost call it refurbished. The track is more or less completely different. The very tedious chicane in the middle sector is now gone and it's been replaced with a very long straight, so should add to the action that we generally normally get around Australia. Although it's always been fairly hard to overtake, it has, as I'm sure you would remember, brought up some very good races in the past. So hopefully today is another one of those. And looking at the championship standings, obviously we've had a fairly dominant victor in the first three races. All of those race victories going to Bashi, as far as my memory serves me. Let's see if I'm correct. I'm pretty sure I am. Yeah, so the first three wins taken by the Red Bull driver, who's currently 42 points clear already. Wow, in the championship. So, although it is very early, so very, very long way to go. We are at round 4 out of 18, I believe. So still a very long way to go before anything is decided. But people will need to start making inroads into the Red Bull drivers' lead basically right now. So Pangrio is the man in second in the Alfa Romeo. He's currently on 45 points, with Bashi, the current championship leader, on 87 points. And then you've got Jerko Balgos, Bashi's teammate in the Red Bull, also now, or he's on 39 points after taking second place in Austria, and also finishing third in the sprint, I believe. Looking at the track, looks fairly cloudy. Not sure if we should anticipate any rain around here. Me personally, I've not done this track well at all really. Today is the first time I've actually gone into it, which could put me. Well, no, I wouldn't even be one of those guys and say it'll put me in the back foot. I'm sure I can get up to speed tomorrow morning, but so we'll keep an eye out for what my pace is like. But for now, it's the more important thing is about what everybody else's pace in F2 is like, and it's, I believe, Bashi that's going to be the first driver out on the track. Yes, he's coming out the pits, and there we go. So the Red Bull driver on what looks like a very dark Albert Park at the moment. And they actually reprofiled this circuit quite a lot more than I thought. Like even this second straight here, you can feel the way that the track, the surface changes underneath your car. Whereas I think in the past it maybe wasn't like that, and it feels a little bit narrower as well. Might be something to do with the barriers, but maybe it's just me. Let me know if maybe I'm not talking rubbish and you guys think the same. But yeah, they have changed this track obviously quite a lot as it has changed. So we'll see what happens in the race and in qualifying. At the moment, we've got most cars out on track and everybody on the soft tyre, of course. In terms of strategy, I don't think there's much different that you're going to see. Most people probably starting on the hards and then switching on to the mediums. Those that do generally start on hards are always kind of leaving themselves a bit vulnerable if there is an early safety car. But nonetheless, that is kind of what makes the races more entertaining, because then you get a mixture of strategies and a lot of different things going on. So as the championship leader comes around the final corner, we'll go on board and we'll watch his first lap of the day. Going through turn one, a car on the inside. You'll see how he takes it. He's going to use all of the curb. Yes, he does. And I think that is how you need to take that corner. I've literally learned that about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, I'm going to take all of the curb or none of it. If you take a little bit, you will find yourself facing the wrong way. That looked fairly clean there through turn 4, I believe it was. We're now coming up to the end of the first sector. Very easy to lose the rear in what normally looks like a very easy flat out right-hander, but it's not. I think probably dependent on setup as well can make a big difference on how much speed you can carry through there. And now in the middle sector, you can see that chicane is gone. We've now got a very long straight, and I only really realised how long the straight is today as well. So a lot of overtaking opportunities here. Let's see if Bash can keep it clean for the middle sector. He just about keeps it in bounds as well. We're going to find a lot of cars picking up penalties and invalidating laps over there. Very late on the brakes, you brake at around 50 meters, went down to gear 3, short shifted up to 4, killing the traction a little bit. He's going to run it through in gear 6, now into the penultimate corner. You can very easily throw your lap away on the power here as the rear is always trying to step out. You can see he's literally turning in. The rear is there or thereabouts, and Jericho Balgos is out of qualifying. Jericho Balgos has DNF in the middle sector, as you can see on your screens. He is out of this session. He will take no further part. As you can see on the right hand side, he's binned it already, and he's given his teammate a lot of impetus in this championship battle to run away. But can anybody now get into the 117s? Because you can see that Bashi's the only man in the 117s currently. Only 3 lap times done at the moment though. So we'll look to see Pangrio. So obviously Pangrio now the man, well, currently the man in second place in the championship. I guess Jericho Balgos has thrown any opportunity that he thought he may have had to close the gap away. He's going to start most likely last, as Vespa goes P3 and Pangrio is about to start his first flying lap. So we'll follow him on board and see what the man in P2 in the championship can do. Comes through turn 1 invalid. Yeah, it's very easy. That can happen. It does happen as well. We'll probably see it quite a lot. I would not be surprised if that is not the last person to invalidate in turn 1. So we'll watch Vilzu then, who's coming through the first sector. Can he challenge for his first victory this season? I'm sure some of the viewers may remember Vilzu's last win in ERO was around Melbourne, a race I also remember very, very well. I played a fairly big part in it, I'd like to say, but Vilzu was brilliant driving the wet to take the victory. Can he do something similar today? I'm not sure whether we're anticipating rain or not, but nonetheless, Vilzu certainly does have the speed to at least be up in the battle for the podium. So let's see what he can do in this final sector now. That big curb on the inside there can catch a lot of drivers out. Depends on how early you are on the brakes. As Bu goes P2 on a 1:18.0, so still only Bashi at the moment in the 1 minute 17s. Vilzu is about to come across the line in a moment. What's his first lap time going to be? It's going to be a 1 minute 18.4 and a P4 for the Mercedes driver. I need to blow my nose. Well, yeah, Jericho had a chance. Well, I guess he still has a chance to win, but very unlikely at the moment. As Bu, I believe, is on an in lap. Libanon's just starting his lap, so let's watch the Ferrari on board and see what he can do. If he's got any pace to challenge the top 5. You can see from P3 down to P5 is separated by about 300ths of a second, so not much in it, but then you've got a second between Bashi and Houseman in P3. So let's see if anybody can pick up the pace and get into the 1 minute 17s also. Bashi was most likely anticipating his strongest challenger to be his teammate, but his teammate has bottled it and has spun out in the early stages of Q1, and he's not got a lap together. He's got Mercedes, they're a little bit wide in the final sector. Looking fairly clean from Liban at the moment. I definitely need tissue though, so give me 2 seconds. As Libanal goes into P8, he's going to want to improve on that 119.4 at the moment for the Ferrari driver. We've got a few other cars on outlaps. T-Brand's invalidated, so is Super Thomas. Patuka though is currently on a lap. He's got a car frantically trying to get out of the way. He does go wide, but he would have lost time there. So although it's not invalidated, he would have lost some time. We'll see what his final sector is like and whether he can find some more time after going a little bit wide on the curb, going a little bit deep into the penultimate corner. But let's see if he can keep the rear in check. This does. Doesn't look fairly spectacular from Patuka, but where's the lap time going to put him? Oh, he does go P3, so even more time in the lap for the Aston Martin. And you've got Bashi also on a lap as no, he's not. He is starting his lap. So let's see if the current championship leader can extend his advantage out in front. Currently on a 1 minute 17.5, a very good lap at the moment. Half a second clear of anybody else. Can he find even more time? He's going to come across the sector 1 line very soon, using all of that curb on the right hand side, keeping the car nicely in the middle of the road. Is he going to improve? He's slightly down, only slightly though, so still a lot of time. Oh, he's invalidated. So it's an invalidation for Bashi. What about Houseman? Houseman's up slightly. He will need to find a bit more time if he wants to challenge for the front row. The grid currently 4 tenths down on the McLaren driver in P2. So let's see what he is like negotiating this very fast chicane in the middle sector. Looks fairly clean on the entrance and on the exit. Just about keeps it in bounds as well. So it could be a decent lap time for Houseman as you watch the sector time in the top right of your screen. I think he really came past it quite a while ago actually. Yeah, I need to refamiliarize myself with whereabouts the sector start and end. Oh, he almost invalidates him, but he is really sending it. So this could be a good lap for the AlphaTauri driver. Really showing some aggression there, and that looked nice and sweet as well. Is he going to drop into the 1 minute 17s? No, but he does go 18 flat, puts himself up into P3. As Vilzu also is about to come across the line, he's starting his lap. I don't know if people are doing out laps, and then the game is saying they're not, but nonetheless, we can follow Vilzu. We've got McLaren coming around the final sector. Is that Bew? If it is, we'll hop on board with him. Yes, it is. So he's coming through the final corner. Can he? Nope, he's also starting a lap, I believe. Yeah, I don't know why it's not saying out lap. Apologies. So we'll go back to Vilzu, who's down slightly in his first sector. We'll probably need to find a bit more time in the middle sector. There's yellow flags being waved. I believe there's a Ferrari or an Alpine going very slowly at the moment. It's an Alpine, maybe trying to find some space on the track. As Vilzu's up by just under a tenth of a second. So if he finds a little bit more time, it could be enough to get himself into the front 2 rows. Currently sitting P6, and he does clout that red curb on the inside, and that can unsettle the car quite aggressively. Manages to keep it together nicely. Fairly smooth looking final sector. Only one more corner to negotiate, but he jumps into the box, so it must have been down on his delta, and he chooses to abandon the lap. Let's see who else is out there that is improving. So Ferrett's about to set his first lap time there. Oh, and Ferret, I'm not sure if he just missed the pit lane there. What? I think he's lost the rear end. Yeah, cool. So not much going on the track besides the fact that Smirtoroni has gone P2. So a good lap from him, second man into the 1 minute 17s at the moment. But currently most cars are in the pits. Super Thomas is on a lap though, so we'll follow the McLaren driver on board. Nope, he's down by 2 seconds. As Patuka retires from the session. So yeah, on outlaps. Yeah, this is looking like at the moment a one-man show. And personally, if it remains like this, I think some people need to find their way into the top tier. As really, besides P1, it is quite close. So from P2 down to P8 is just under half a second. And then you've got a bit of a gap back to the next Mercedes driver who's just starting his lap. I believe there's an Alpine T-Brand's been validated. And Vilzu, I believe, is on a lap at the moment, unless the game is pulling the wool over my eyes again, which I think it is. So we'll follow Zeki on board, currently P9 on a 118.8. So the gap to the next car is 4 tenths. So we need to find quite some time he's going to invalidate or go off track. So we'll have to abort, unfortunately for him. Bew is on a lap though, I hope. It looks like he's not. He's got 100% ERS. Yeah, I don't know why the game is doing that. Maybe when people come into the final sector, the outlap thing changes. I'm not too sure. T-Brand is on a lap, and I believe Vilzu also on a lap. So he's getting a very nice slipstream here, but he's actually up by 2 tenths, but he's going to have an issue because if he is quick, and he gets out of shape, but he manages to not invalidate. I wonder if that was a synchronized swimming there between those two, because Vilzu did gain 2 tenths, but he actually went onto the gravel as well, so he might have lost a bit more time. But can he find some time back in the final sector? He's going to have to push it all the way to its limit. Under braking in the penultimate corner looks sweet enough, but he chooses the box again. So Bashi about to start his lap. Gonna take a wide run up. Is this gonna be the lap for pole? We'll watch and see. So let's run through the lap. Where's he gonna brake? You've got the brake marker boards on the left hand side. He looked like he braked around 80 meters. Took all of the inside curve, very confident there from Bashi. And now you spot the 100-meter board slightly after where you've got the, what do you call it, where those boards that you see in the corner where they throw the flags and that. Yeah, you can brake there basically, see what happens. Generally it works. Sometimes you might go deep, but Bashi at the moment looks like he's going fairly quick, and yes he is. He's only down by 900ths of a second, but he invalidates the lap. So the door is still open for somebody to take pole position if they can improve. Bashi may have enough fuel to go again, but at the moment he's still 4 tenths clear of anybody else. So if somebody's going to make an impression on that lap, they'll need to do it, as there's only 1 minute and 50 seconds remaining in qualifying. A lot of cars coming out of the pits as the Haas negotiating that turn 1 very nice, using all that inside curve. What's he going to do in the first sector though? He's currently on an 18.6, so he could put himself quite high up in the charts at the moment. You've got cars coming across the line that I believe are starting their final laps. There's an AlphaTauri also coming through at the moment, and he's starting his time. I believe that's Vespa. He's just improved by 8 tenths of a second. He's gone up to P6. So I believe by the seams of it, that will be his final run in quali. We'll stay on board with the Haas. We've got a Ferrari coming through the final corner. I'm not sure if that's Smerteroni or Libena, but we'll see as they're about to come across the line to either start their final lap or finish their final lap. And Camille is currently going quicker. He's just improved by 2 tenths of a second. So he's got the final set to negotiate. He could put himself potentially on the front row of the grid if he can find any more time at the moment. Very good on the brakes, going a little bit deep. He might have scrubbed off a little bit of time there, but he can still salvage it back in the last couple of corners. Ferriet has retired in the pits, so his qualifying is over. He'll start no higher than P14 near the back with Jericho Balgos, and that looks very sweet. Very good traction for Camille, and he's about to come across the line. Can he put his car on the front row? He goes P5, so he doesn't manage to get onto the front row, but he does go up into P5. It's a 118.1. We've got quite a few cars coming through. Smerteroni is invalidated his lap. We've got Bashi who's improving just by 7 thousandths of a second, so he may not be able to do any better than a 17.540. Let's see, he's got one more corner to go. Can he set the gauntlet or even raise the benchmark for everybody else to follow? He's about to come across the line, and it's potentially going to be another pole for Bashi, and he does improve by just under a tenth and a half. It's a 117.4. Surely nobody's going to match that. You've got Bu currently improving by a 100th of a second coming through the middle sector at the moment. Matt's also improving by 2 tenths. So a few cars looking to get themselves onto the front row of the grid. And now for time, it looks like he's going to be the next one to potentially do that, but he runs wide and he would have lost time there. He's had to brake a little bit earlier as well as he was unsettled going into the penultimate corner. It looks like he potentially could have thrown away what was a front row start. Let's see what he's about to do. He's about to come across the line and he doesn't improve. Unfortunately, it's going to be no better than P4. Bu currently in P3 and he's invalidated his lap also. Super Thomas invalidated. Vilzu invalidated. Libanal currently his lap time is done, so his quali is over. Zeki invalidated also. Pangrio, the man second in the championship, he's invalidated his lap. He's going to start no higher than P13, so that's the end of qualifying for everybody. And Bashi has smashed everybody by half a second. It's Smerteroni in P2 on a 17.9. Then you've got quite close between Bu all the way down to Super Thomas between P3 and P6, just under a tenth of a second. And I'm not sure what we're waiting for. I think we're waiting for the Mercedes to get pushed into the garage. And there you have it. Bashi on pole position by over half a second. And then you've got Smerteroni in the Ferrari. Three Dutchmen actually between P2 and P4. And then you've got Camille, Super Thomas, Vespa, Patuka, Vilzu, and Libanal rounding out the top 10. You've got some quick guys at the back of the grid at the moment. They'll be looking to recover, namely Jericho Balgos, who binned it in the middle sector before he could start his first lap. We've also got Yomi, Eat My Dust, and Ferret, as well as Nezdek, the bottom 5 in qualifying. Pangrio, the man second in the championship, couldn't do any better than P13. So at the moment, it looks like Bashi is running away with it, and especially with a gap of half a second, it's going to be difficult for anybody to make an impression on him, it seems, in the early phases of this race. So let's wait and see what Melbourne has in store for us. Maybe there's some weather in the air. It was a fairly dark qualifying, but you never know, it could be full sunshine. We will find out very, very shortly. Oh my Lord, have mercy. Oh my gosh. It's... Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay, so... It's raining. There you have it. It's raining. Heavy rain as well. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is... I don't know how to feel about this, but nonetheless, we have a race on our hands. Yeah, soaking wet. out there. I'm not sure if there's a formation lap. We're about to find. No, there's not. So, yes, there is formation lap. And the driver's on full wets. So I'm not sure what is going to happen in this race in terms of when the rain is going to stop, if the rain is going to stop. I've been told to reduce the game volume. I'm not sure why. Please let me know if I need to reduce the game volume. If you're anybody except Coutinho, please let me know. Yeah, so I guess maybe that's why we saw such big gaps in qualifying. Some drivers anticipating wet conditions as we have got. Personally, I hope this does not happen tomorrow because I will be in massive trouble. But we have got a wet race in store. Coutinho, is it going to be wet for the whole race? Do you know? Let me know. Or does anybody know? Please. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And who do you think is going to win the race also? Again, as I said last week, don't be shy. Don't be scared. I will not bite if you comment in the comments. But yeah, it looks like we've got a wet race in store. And that Ferrari livery looks really good. Wow, that rear wing. They need to keep that in real life. I like the Ferrari in the yellow on the rear wing. It looks, yeah, good stuff. But I guess this is going to throw up a bit of unpredictability. If somebody can get ahead of Bashi at the start, then maybe we may have a good race on our hands. But he did seem fairly ominous in qualifying, but qualifying was obviously dry. And we've got cars very far back for some strange reason. And we've got an Alpine stopped on the track of T-Brand. I'm not sure what happened there. But the drivers were already lining up on the grid, and T-Brand is yet to come through the penultimate corner, so they'll be waiting for a few moments. And Bashi looked like he was a bit safe there. And you can see he's actually a little bit set back. So Smerteroni could potentially get the jump on him at the start. We'll wait and see what's going to happen. But we've got a wet race in store for us today at Albert Park. The way it's coming down at the moment, I'm not too sure when it's going to stop, if it's going to stop either. Which is strange because it says sunshine. But as you can see, we are not in store for sunshine. It is heavy rain at Albert Park, and the lights are about to go out. The game's not giving us any better camera than what we've got at the moment. So it's lights out and away we go, and still nothing. So we'll switch on board to Bashi, and Bu's got a good start. Is he going to have a look up the inside of the Red Bull? No, he thinks better of it. And there's some cars filtering behind. Houseman going up into P4, and the Ferrari of Smerteroni's dropped from P2 all the way down to P5. So he's had a horrible start, and he's actually coming under pressure from Super Thomas, who's cruised past him as well. Has he got damage? The Mercedes of Vilzu looking to have a look up the inside. They make contact, and the Ferrari driver might go off the track, but he manages just about to stay on. Vespa looking to make his way around the outside of the Ferrari as well, who pushes him off the track. We've got about 2 wide there. Hopefully this doesn't end in tears. The Aston Martin goes off the track, and they're really fighting hard at the moment in the early stages of this race. They do need to gain track position. There's been a retirement, and this is the McLaren spun out, and there'll probably be a safety car surely as he's in the middle of the track, and there is a safety car. So some really good racing out there, and Bashi it looked like it was 4 seconds ahead already. He got away quite well. But it looks like we're gonna, I think we've got a safety car. I don't think it's a virtual safety car. Let me see one of the boards. Oh no, so yeah, we've got a virtual safety car then on lap 1, and we'll have a quick look at the position changes. You can see Smerteroni's had a horrible start, and we are green flags, so we are underway once again. Smerteroni dropped down from P2, now sitting in P6. He is going to get a bit of a break now though, as the virtual safety car has created a little bit of distance between the cars. He was being swarmed by a bunch of drivers, and Bashi 3 seconds out in front already here on lap 1, so he's got a very comfortable lead at the moment. And then you've got Pangrio and Vespa switching places. Pangrio looking to come back from what was terrible qualifying. He's gained 6 positions, getting a little bit out of shape on the exit of turn 1 though, which might put him under pressure to Vespa, but he's used his ERS and is going to get away very nicely. So Pangrio up into P7. Can he make any more positions? Jericho Bagos also up into P9, gaining 6 positions, the pair of them. So the 2 people currently in P2 and P3 in the championship looking to make waves as soon as possible and break that gap to Bashi, who's currently 3.8 seconds out ahead. And you can see Vilsey almost dropped it in the middle of the corner on the power. Very easy to do that in the wet, and it looks like somebody has dropped it. It's Patuka. Patuka's had a problem and he's going to drop to dead last. Yellow flags being waved. There's another driver with a problem. I believe it's a Mercedes of Zerki. I think that flat out right-hander catching some of the drivers out, as we've got Jericho Balgos right on the back of Vespa. He's going to look to make a move going down into the newly refurbished, I'm not sure what corner number it is, but yeah, you guys, somebody could let me know. Maybe I should just count, but I can't bother to do that. Nonetheless, Jericho Balgos still in P9, not thinking to go for the dive bomb up the inside, but rather to stay behind and look to make the move very, very soon. Vilsey currently in P5. If you will remember, Vilsey won a race here in F1 in similar conditions, so maybe he has a chance to do it again. Bashi will obviously try his hardest to deny him of that opportunity. Currently 4 seconds out in front, just pulling the gap lap after lap, corner by corner, as Zerki and Libanal have both come into the pit, so maybe damage there, or surely damage there on the Mercedes and the Ferrari drivers. You've also got Pangrio sitting very closely behind Smerton. He had a little wobble there in the middle of the corner. Very difficult conditions, as you can tell. The drivers are in at the moment. I don't envy them one bit. Really haven't going to have to use all of their concentration to keep the cars on the track. And you can see how much time you can lose just needing to be cautious if the rear wiggles a little bit as Jericho gets through Vespa. That corner does seem to be catching people out. So let's see if anybody else has a bit of a moment as Bew leaves the session. Unfortunately, he is out. Oh, and you've got the Ferrari and the Aston Martin going wheel to wheel. They're going to keep it clean. He might go off the track. Hopefully he can keep it together though. Yes, he does. Libanal gets through. And he's up to P16. The gap out in front, 5 seconds. And nobody can make an impression on Bashi. So yeah, Woutinho, yeah, you know what to do realistically. This is at the moment what you call a whitewash or a washout, no pun intended. It's heavy rain in Albert Park, but Bashi is the one really cleaning up out there. Currently 5.5 seconds clear of anybody else. Nobody's got an answer to his pace at the moment. We've got a few battles going on at the moment. Really, it's just about a game of concentration and who can keep it together, especially the battle for the podium. Houseman leading a very short train of Super Thomas and Vilzu. Houseman currently 1.1 seconds behind Camille in the Haas, who's managed to gain 3 places from the start. And you've got Pangrio looking very much closer to Smerteroni. I feel like if he was to get past, he may have the pace to put an impression on the guys up ahead, but at the moment he's struggling to do so, and that is inviting Jericho Balgos into the battle also for P6. So we'll see how this plays out as well. The rain doesn't look to be stopping at all, but Vilzu getting a little bit closer to Super Thomas. I wonder if somebody's going to think to send the dive bomb at some point. Vilzu used quite a lot of his ERS at this point also, probably a bit more than he would have liked, especially as he's still sitting behind Super Thomas. Is he going to try and make a brave move at any point? Probably not. Doesn't seem close enough, but Super Thomas goes very deep. And this is going to invite Vilzu, we love this camera angle, to make a move around the outside. Can he make it stick? Oh, wonderful move there from the Mercedes driver. He managed to keep it together. There's a safety car. Is that another VSC? I think it's a VSC. Oh, I hope this isn't a glitch. There's a virtual safety car and cars are having to stop. I hope this isn't the lobby glitching, because I know this did this in F1. They did this in F1 around Silverstone. But if it's a VSC, it should be okay. I'm not sure why there's a virtual safety car though. Can't see any issues on the track at the moment. And we're back green, so those gaps should change. I know it went to 11 seconds, but as the cars speed up, the gap should change. We've got Vilju a second and a half behind Mats at the moment. Sorry, apologies for the confusion. And Pangrio half a second behind Smerteroni. Can he get past anytime soon? He's got almost full ERS. Oh, it looks like he's a little bit closer. He's got a lot of straight line speed, but he's not going to send it though. Surely not. Yeah, he fought better over the gap out in front, 8.6 seconds at the moment. So yeah, again, Bashi looking very comfortable as Yomi and Vespa going wheel to wheel. Oh, look like a good move there by Yomi. Pangrio only 2/10 still behind the Ferrari and still thinking better of sending it up the inside. Pangrio very close again, a little bit of a wiggle on the rear, but he should have enough speed now to overtake. He did seem like he's probably running a little bit less downforce than the Ferrari, who is defenseless. That's Pangrio. You can see Jericho Balgos in the background, who's looking intently. Apologies. Anywho, back to the action. As you can see, Jericho quickly made his way up to the rear of the Ferrari as Pangrio is trying to clear off down the road as quickly as possible. The gap out in front, 9.5 seconds. Patuca's only a couple of corners ahead as well, so it could be laps in the next 5 to 10 laps or so, depending on the pace at the moment, but not too much going on track, as I'm sure you'd imagine. But I think the rain, I'm not sure if the rain's easing up. I don't think it is actually. There's yellow flags and there's Aston Martin who's gone off the track. It was Ferret. So the Aston Martin's not having a great day out there on the track at the moment. These guys just following each other through as Camille gets a 3-second time penalty. He's already 11 seconds back. It looks like he may have made a little bit of a mistake actually, as Hostman is only half a second behind at the moment, so it might take a few corners to reset, whereas Ferret is retired in the pits, so that's his race done. And was there a bit of debris that just flown off of the Haas car there? It looked like, I'm not sure how though, or where that could have happened, but it did look like there was a bit of debris that just came off the Haas, so he could be in for a bit of an issue if, oh, why has the safety car come out? Oh, the Mercedes is retired. The Mercedes has spun, I believe, on the inside, and that is going to be a safety car, surely. Or is it another VSC? It looks like it's a full course safety car. So we have got the first safety car of the race. It's going to rebunch the field. Is anybody going to choose to jump into the pits? Yeah, Bashi does come into the pits. Very tentatively. I wonder what tyres he will choose to go for. Maybe full wet, so then that shows that we're likely to see this rain throughout the entire race, as Bashi pits for the full wet tires, and I assume everybody else will also do the same. Full wets for the McLaren. Have a look. Yeah, full wets for all of those that box. Pangrio and Jericho Balgos choosing to stay out. So they have done the opposite, and they want to put some pressure onto the championship leader at this point. And there's, I thought somebody else retired there, I don't think so. Wait, hold on. Oh gosh. Wait, wow, Son came on and scored a hat-trick. Very interesting. So it's still a long way till we bunch the cars up, so please give me a moment, I will be back. Okay, the safety car's coming in, and now at least, well, Bash has got some company, and it's in the form of the man second in the championship, Pangrio, and his teammate Jericho Balgos. So let's see if they can do something on those 7-lap-old wet tires, and he's choosing to go a little bit early. Has he caught anybody out though? Pangrio is still within 7 tenths, so definitely getting a little bit out of shape there though. Still within touching distance, but Jericho Balgos a full 1.4 seconds behind, trying to warm up those wet tires. Looks like that will probably be the main issue, as Nezdek is losing positions behind, and it's quite fairly sizable gaps on the track. I think Nezdek has actually come to the pits. I'm not too sure why, but we've got Houseman on the back of Jericho Balgos. Obviously these guys chose to stay out on the track. You can see they've been on those wets for 9 laps, so they will not have as much grip as those around them. Maybe they are trying to hang it out and see what they can do, whether they can take those wet tires to the end, if that is possible. I'm not entirely sure. Houseman got a little bit wide, and that's invited Camille to the scene, and he's probably going to get a good drive. If he does, then he could make a move. And you can see they're not actually full throttle through that corner. they're really having to be cautious, and this could invite Vilzu, who's going to look to try and make a move around the outside. Has he got enough straight line speed though? I don't think he'll be late enough on the brakes to get it done. No, he has to back out, as Jericho Bago struggling for pace at the moment. Currently 1.8 seconds behind Pangrio, who's a further 1.8 seconds behind Bashi, so nobody can touch the man out in front at the moment, who's pulling away as we follow Vilzu on board. As these guys are gonna, it looks like they'll start to push up behind the Red Bull, see if they can make anything happen. They're gonna have to be aggressive to do it, as it, well, by the way it looks, it's gonna be an entirely wet race. So yeah, I don't think this race will turn dry at any point, but let's see what happens. As we watch the cars come through turn 1, using all of the inside of that curve. Maybe Will's using a little bit too much, but it is going to give him a very good drive now coming down into turn 3. How late on the brakes is he going to be? It looked like he was late enough. Can he hang it around the outside? Obviously keep his front wing there. He can't. He almost spins, but manages to keep his Mercedes on the track. So Vilzu looks like the man that wants to be on the move at the moment, but he's being stopped by the Haas. So he'll have to try and get through quickly, so that the guys out ahead don't get away. But realistically, the gaps aren't growing. The only gap that's growing is the one out in front, as that is currently now at 2.9 seconds. Pangrio looks like he's running very low downforce, gaining quite a lot of time on the straight. And Vilzu having another look around the outside of the Haas. Can he make it happen though? No, he can't. He has to tuck in behind once again. And all the while, this is inviting Super Thomas onto the scene. But Vilzu really fighting to get past the Haas. He might just have to send it at some point up the inside and hope that he makes it stick. As Smerteroni losing positions, I think he's probably got a little bit out of shape in the chicane in the middle sector. Apologies, not too much happening at the moment. It seems like, well, yeah, Vilzu's definitely stuck at the moment. He seems like he has got fairly good pace, but he cannot use it, as he's stuck behind the Haas. And there's been something that's happened around the back, and that's a safety car. And it looks like the Ferrari, so the Ferrari's got no front wing, and as a result, the safety car is out once again. Vespa gets a drive through. Oh, this is on me. And of course, that will mean Jericho Balgos and Pangrio in the pits, but they are most likely going to go all the way to the back of the grid. So probably not pitting was quite a big mistake for them, as they've gained some fairly good positions, but they're going to lose it all now. Well, most of it at least. Pangrio. Oh, Pangrio coming out beside the Williams. Did he illegally overtake him? No. He's having to slow down. It must be to the Delta. As often what can happen when you're, oh, and this is going to get messy. Leicester are actually bottom of the league. So that was a very, very late signal. But as you can see, the safety car's in, and Super Thomas has gone past Camille. You've also got Pangrio looking to make a move on Eat My Dust. So maybe it has worked out for Pangrio and Jacob Bagos. Eat My Dust has gone well wide. Those tires looking absolutely shot. No temperature whatsoever. And that must, oh, and then somebody does a spin as Houseman. That must be as a result of the safety car coming in very unexpectedly. You could see none of the drivers were weaving. I don't think they expected it. I most certainly did not expect it. And they look like an Alfa Romeo almost lost it. Vilzu currently behind Smartoni again. He's going to try and make his way around the outside. Is it going to work? Is he only going to make contact? He gets through very easily, and he's now going to be up the inside of Houseman, who's struggling with wing damage. He's surely going to have to get out of the way, or it could cause absolute carnage in the midfield. You can see he's going to be a excuse me, a blockage between those cars up ahead. And you got Pangrio coming through, Camille as well. So Pangrio absolutely flying at the moment. Can he be the man to apply some pressure to Bashi, the championship leader, who's currently about 4 seconds up the road already? So it's unfortunate. Oh, and almost contact between 3 cars there. The Aston Martin and the AlphaTauri of Vespa. But Houseman's dropped all the way to the back. Unfortunately for him, he's a big loser as to what looked like a glitch by the safety car. The safety car decided to come in very late. And Livenau having a little sniff up the inside, thinking better of it. Going past the Alpine, who's gone deep, and he's going to try and make his way around the outside. They're not going to touch it. It's a good move from Livenau, very similar to the one that was done a bit earlier on by Vilzu. So that's the end of the first lap after the safety car. Pangrio is going to want to make his move as soon as possible. He's got some good straight line speed on that Alfa Romeo. Is it yellow flags? It's a Haas. Is he out of the session? No, he's not. Is it going to be a virtual? It's a safety car again. Oh my God. So we've got another safety car. Yeah, not entirely sure why Vespa gets his. Oh God, Vespa's in a bit of a pickle. He's not had the greatest of races. What this does do is bring Houseman back into play, but I don't think we needed a full core safety car. But we've got it nonetheless. So another safety car. I'll be back. As you can see, Eat My Dust has chosen to go for the inters. Doesn't look like it's intermediates out there, son, but I guess we'll find out very, very soon. Should be behind the safety car for another lap, as there's a couple of cars still quite far away from the pack, so hopefully we don't have the safety car diving in unexpectedly on anybody. Yeah, so we do have another lap behind the safety car. So we'll take stock of what we've got at the moment. So currently, after this lap, there will be 12 laps remaining. And let's have a look at the position changes. So the two championship protagonists, Jericho Bargos and Pangio, have managed to get themselves back up into good position, currently sitting P3 and P5. Bashi, who's led from start to finish so far, let's see if he can navigate another safety car restart without any issues. Got Super Thomas and Pangrio potentially hot on his heels, so he'll need to stay lively for the last 12 laps, or actually it will be 11 laps once we cross the line. And then of course, looking a little bit further down, we've got Eat My Dust on the intermediate tyres, so it will be interesting to watch his potential progress. I say potential because it certainly does not look like intermediate conditions out there on the track. So we'll see whether or not he can keep his car on the track, and whether or not he'll be quicker than the rest, because if he is, that will give us a very interesting finish to the race. So this should be the last lap of the safety cars. We've got Vespa, if he can keep it on the track, pulling up to the rear of his teammate Houseman, who was unfortunately, or I don't know if it was taken out, I think he spun out and lost his wing, unfortunately, at the safety car restart on very cold, wet tyres. So yeah, safety car should be in on this lap, and we should be getting underway, and hopefully we've got an entertaining finish, because again, we've got two of the championship protagonists now back in the top 5. So let's see if Jericho can redeem himself from what was a poor qualifying for him, as he didn't actually get a lap in, and influence the final 11-10 laps of this race. You can see safety car in on this lap, so we're going to watch Bashi closely as he backs up the pack. We've got Super Thomas and Pangrio. Remember, he looks like he's running fairly low downforce there, and I think Bashi would have let it go. No, he's still not gone yet, so he's possibly going to go, but he might find himself under some pressure if he doesn't pick the right point. And he's gone now, and Pangrio not close enough, and nor is Super Thomas, but it looks like Vilsu's going to get a really good run on Jericho, who's going to try and make his way up the inside. They're going to go wheel to wheel coming down the turn 1. Who's going to be late on the brakes? It is Vilsu, but Jericho Bagos tries to hang it around the outside. He would have gone off the track, potentially got a warning there, but he does manage to keep it in front. But Vilsu's coming back at him in the Mercedes. He's got a much better drive, and he's going to find his way up into P5, but no, Jericho Bagos has gone for the move on the inside. He threw the dummy and he sent it, and he made it stick, but Vilsu's going to try and find his way back around the outside now. These guys are battling for position, and Jericho Bagos has made his way through. Libenau's also got past his teammate Smerteroni, who looks like he must have some damage or very cold tires, one or the other. You've got Eat My Dust on those intermediates, absolutely nowhere on those tires. He's now down in last position. Houseman's got a time penalty, and he's trying to come back past Smerteroni, who's made his way around the outside. It's a brilliant move there from the AlphaTauri, trying to re-pick up those places. And Vilsu's still on the back of Jericho Balgos after that insane battle that they had in the first sector. Bashi's not managed to pull away from Super Thomas, the gap only 7/10 of a second. So we'll see if those guys can influence the top 3 positions in this race. But as it stands, no changes in the top 5. Libenau picking up places. The rest, it seems, fairly stagnant. I need a co-commentator. I can't do all of this by myself. Just that's a message to you, by the way, team. Anywho, yeah. So Bashi looks like he's got quite a lot of speed in the final sector, because he's just pulled out about 3 tenths in the last sector there. Pangrio is going to want to do something very quickly to get past Super Thomas, otherwise he's going to have to settle for 3rd place. So this will be, after this lap, there'll be 9 laps remaining for the drivers. Let's see what they can do, and if anybody can make the difference in these conditions. Do I think Nezdek is genius? Why would I think he's a genius? Gets 3-second time penalty, and he won't be able to make this move here, but maybe he can line it up if he can get a good enough exit. But Vilsu's also waiting patiently for any mistakes, and unless Jericho's going to try a very aggressive dive bomb, which, yeah, of course he wouldn't, he's going to remain in P5 for the moment, because he broke wing and got safety car. Oh, and he's in 8th. Oh gosh. Well, I guess you could call him a genius then, if it works. Sometimes it doesn't, but fair enough. Bashi does the fastest lap. Yeah. Take stock of this, please. It's very impressive, to be honest, from Bashi. Very, very good pace. Nobody can really match him. Big props to him. I think he... Oh, and there you go. You've got Jericho going up the inside. I think he can be doing it in the top division also, though. So please challenge him to do that. And Camille's going to try and make his way back around the outside. He gave Jericho a little bit too much space. Oh, Vilsu almost losing the rear there. And as Camille was a bit tentative to turn in, he's lost the position to Jericho. So now Vilsu's going to want to find his way through as soon as possible. You can probably wouldn't be surprised seeing him using his ERS fairly aggressively down this straight. He had to lift off a little bit, as he potentially could have spun, but he's right on the rear now of the Haas, and they're going to go wheel to wheel. Unless Vilsu's got a little bit more straight line speed, then he will have no answer to the Haas driver. But he's got that slipstream. He's going to be very, very close Once again now in the final sector, is he sure he's going to send it? The Haskell's defensive. Oh, they're going to squeeze into the line a little bit. Vil's going to try and get the switch back. Is he going to have good enough traction to make it stick? Oh, they almost touch wheels there. They're going to go wheel to wheel. And Vilzu finds his way through. They make a bit of contact, unfortunately, but Vilzu had made his way through. So the Hash driver losing 2 positions in 1 lap there. Pangreal not managing to stay close to Super Thomas, gap 1.2 seconds. Jericho Balgos has just taken some time out of Pangreal also. So now it's looking like the fight for the podium is on. It'll most likely come down to mistakes at this point, as overtaking, as you can see, is very hard to come by. Oh wow, yeah, Pangreal looks like he's struggling quite a lot at the moment. As you can see, Jericho Balgos is right on his rear. It was about, and almost got out of shape again there. So they're going to go wheel to wheel. These two are 2nd and 3rd in the championship. So this is big, but you can see how much straight line speed Pangreal's got. Lord, wow. It's a rocket ship on that Alfa Romeo. So Jericho will find it difficult to get past unless he makes a mistake. And there you go, Pangreal going deep. But I think he's got so much straight line speed that there's no way Jericho will be able to, even with the slipstream, yeah, as you can see, he won't be able to get past. It will have to be something in either the second part of the first sector or the final sector where he can really influence his position, because Pangreal's got a lot of straight line speed at the moment, probably running very low downforce in these very tricky conditions. So lap 24, not, well, no, I was going to say not much, nothing happening at the moment. Very difficult for the drivers to get close and make overtakes. It says yellow flags, there's a spinner, it's a Haas, it's Nezdek. Looks like he's lost his front wing, or probably has some damage yet. You see the end plate is missing on his Haas, so that'll be more or less the end of his race. And then we've got this cluster of cars chasing the podium positions, all within a second of one another. Of course, no DRS. Ferrari in the middle sector, I believe that's Merteroni, had a bit of an issue there, but it seems like it wasn't anything too major. 4 laps remaining, nothing has changed for the last couple of laps. Nobody's actually really got close either. Jericho Bagos can't get close to Pangrio due to his very slippery Alfa Romeo. We see what top speed he reaches there, 185. So almost about 7 miles per hour difference, but he does go deep. There's yellow flag and Patuka's out. Is that going to be a safety car? It is. Is it a full course safety car? It is. So we're going to have most likely a 2-lap sprint, but the cars are having to stop due to the deltas. Hopefully there's no drive-through penalties. Is anybody going to choose to jump into the pits? I highly doubt it. Yeah, it doesn't make sense to pit at this point. So we've got another safety car. It's the 3rd safety car of the day. So I believe no matter what, the safety car will be coming in at the end of lap 27. As you can see, we've got a few cars that have chosen to go for intermediates. Not entirely sure why. They probably didn't know he might just try the exact same experiment and he's now back on the full wets. But what we may have is the possibility for, well, I guess a very unpredictable finish in terms of the order we've got. Currently in the order we've had for the last maybe 10 laps or so. So let's see how things play out at this point. Pangrio, Jericho Bagos on newer wet tyres, so maybe they may have an advantage enough that can make the difference in the 2 laps. Currently only 13 drivers remaining. And Bashi's managed the race from start to finish with quite a lot of ease, actually. I guess that will put it lightly. But anything can happen in a couple of laps. And it will be 2 laps that he'll have to secure his 4th out of 4, well, his 4th victory this season. That would be out of 4 races. So it'd be a fairly impressive feat for the championship leader if he can make it happen. Some cars will be streaking to, why is it the camera not changing? I don't know why this little does this. There we go. As they will frantically be trying to warm those tires. Bashi will be keeping an eye on where the safety car is when he begins to come through the pits, as it may be at that point that he begins to send it. He's not gone yet. The safety car now coming into the pits, and it looks like he's gone. So he's gone early this time, and he doesn't seem to have caught the guys behind out, but he has got a better restart as Super Thomas got a little bit out of shape, and this will definitely give Pangio an opportunity. The man's in a rocket ship. Can he make it stick going into turn one? It looks like he's not going to have enough speed or enough straight to get the move done. He's going to have a look, but he's going to obviously think better of it. Can he get a good enough exit out of turn two to affect turn three? Can he put himself in P2? And at the moment, it looks like he's going to struggle to do so. The guys on the inters are struggling massively. They're going to lose position very easily. Oh, and you can see the Haas almost put in the barrier. I'm not sure if he was getting out of the way or if he almost spun out. But nonetheless, he is now down into P13. Pangrio still only half a second behind Super Thomas, so nothing's changed at the restart. Still single file for the cars on the track. Sorry if you can hear that, I'm so sorry. I think that's my neighbour's drilling. I didn't expect that myself. But yeah, nothing's changed here at the restart. Drivers will obviously be finding it very frustrating being out there, being unable to really influence their race in terms of getting close and overtaking, as is often the case in the wet conditions. You've got Vespa behind in Alpine, but he's probably not going to be much closer come the end of this lap. Jericho Bargos, 4 attempts behind Pangio. He's going to want to get himself on the podium, as his teammate has absolutely bossed this race from start to finish. Can Jericho do something coming into the final lap to get himself on to the third step of the podium? Remember, himself and Pangrio are currently 2 and 3 in the championship as well, so this could have big implications on the final standings at the end of the season. Still obviously a long way to go at the moment, but it looks like unless Pangrio spins or makes some kind of error, he will not get past, as it has really looked like for the last 15 laps of this race. Very difficult for the drivers to get close and to overtake. As we get a fairly nice camera angle here. 4 attempts to gap, but it won't be enough, because you can see Pangio just falls away down the straight. You can see he's almost 8 kilometers an hour or 8 miles per hour, so faster as a spinner and AlphaTauri. But what we have got though is Bashi coming into the final sector. He's absolutely bossed this race from start to finish. Nobody's been able to get anywhere near him. It's been a stupendous drive from the Red Bull driver. It looks like he's going to cap it off with his 4th victory of this season. At the moment, nobody can get close to him in F2. Surely it rings signs of a promotion up to F1, because he's about to come across the line and take an absolutely dominant victory at Albert Park as the checker flag waves for his 4th victory and the fastest lap of the race on the last lap for the Red Bull driver, rubbing the salt into the wounds of his championship rivals. Super Thomas finishes P2, Pangrio rounds out the podium in P3, a good recovery drive from him, as well as Jericho Bargos finishing P4. Vilzu had good pace. Unfortunately, he couldn't make some very key overtakes stick when it mattered. He had a good fight with Jericho after the restart. He'll finish P5. Camille takes P6. Libanow finishes P7. Mats, after breaking his front wing and falling out of the top 5, finishes P8. Then we've got Smirteroni and Eat My Dust rounding out the top 10. And there you have it. Red Bull man taking his 4th victory in a row this season. Very one-sided. In terms of fastest lap, he was over a second quicker than anybody else. Surely he's got to be in Formula 1 with pace like that, because he absolutely destroyed the field here today. Really showed them how it's done, leading every lap from start to finish, even with all the safety cars. Controlled the restarts very, very well. So yeah, really good win for the Red Bull driver. Super Thomas, also a very good podium, very consistent, managed to keep himself from making any major mistakes and taking the podium, as well as Pang Rio salvaging, making 10 places, and Jericho making 11 places as well. Libina also managing to gain some places even while stopping 3 times. I believe he picked up some wing damage. So really good race for him. And Eat My Dust starting P18, finishing P10 after choosing to go for the intermediate tires. He'll also be very satisfied with his results. With that being said, thank you guys for watching. It wasn't the most entertaining of races due to the rain, I'm sure. We will have a better race tomorrow in F1. Fingers crossed there's no heavy rain like this, because it always does tend to be, it can be entertaining around Albert Park. So be sure to tune in for that. In terms of next week in F2, let me have a look. Well, not even just in F2, but let's have a look. I don't know what the next race is, and I'm not going to do the press conference, I'm sorry. The next race is Bahrain. Oh yeah, Bahrain is always lit. So yeah, be sure to tune in for next week in Bahrain. Until then, from myself, low key, yeah, it was really nice commentating, and yeah, see you guys next week.